Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This live will be with me and Monique, so she should be joining in shortly. But as she's logging in, we can get some of the information out of the way. First, my name is Ayele, and this live will be discussing the fourth trimester. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Whitman-Walker's Community Health Department has expanded its outreach efforts to the social media platform, where we'll cover various topics about HIV, STI, and sexual health practices, access to care, social determinants of health, and public health interventions. The community health team is here to educate and support you. All right, and I think she is here. So before we introduce ourselves, yes, she's here. Wonderful. Oh, did it work? Not yet. Yay! Good afternoon.
How are you?
Wonderful. Happy to see you. How about you?
You too. I'm doing okay. Little sad, but my baby started with his nanny today, so
That's
a
great.
little sad. But workday is almost over, so I'm about to rush home to him.
Baby Kai Kai, beautiful.
Yes.
And just the introduction discussing a little bit about how Whitman-Walker has expanded our outreach efforts to the social media platform. I introduce myself. My name is Ayele Ba. I'm a community health and education and training coordinator here at Whitman-Walker Health.
And I am Monique Campbell. I am the community health manager. Pronouns, she, her, hers.
And my pronouns are she, her, hers as well. Yes. So today we're having a conversation a little bit about the fourth trimester.
Mm-hmm.
Many times it doesn't often get discussed because trimester 3, and we're here talking about 4.
Mm-hmm.
So a bit about what that means. The fourth trimester is the postpartum period, starting directly from the baby's birthday up until 3 months old. I would even go as far to say that it extends past that. It's more so describing that postpartum period, and I would not want to restrict it just to that 3 months.
No, it definitely goes further than that.
Right? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And but there was a pediatrician that Dr. Harvey Karp that theorized that babies are during that first 3 months need to be in a environment that is close to the womb environment. So creating the same types of warmth and safety that they felt in the womb during those first 3 months can be very important. And I know you just exited your 3 months, but still, would you count yourself still in the fourth trimester? How do you feel?
I think so. My baby is now 5.5 months. I think that I am honestly just now exiting the fourth trimester. Starting to, because this is now, and like now I'm in a groove now. Not like I know him and he knows me. Like we have to get to know each other, see how each other works, you know. So I think now I am now coming out of the fourth trimester.
Beautiful, beautiful. And when you were in the fourth trimester, what types of support did you receive, or would you have liked to receive during that time?
So, a little backstory. I'm not from DC originally, even though I've been here long enough to say that I am. But I'm very much a transplant. I'm from New York, Brooklyn, New York. So my family is still in New York, with the exception of my mom who retired to Florida. Siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins still in New York. So I'm here pretty much by myself, my husband and my children. So my friends have become family, and in turn they've become my village. So I had a lot of support. My friends threw my baby shower. Um, for fourth trimester specifically, my friends scheduled a meal train, and we'll talk about meal trains. Meal trains are the greatest
Mhm.
gift that you can give anyone. What else did I have? I had folks come over just to sit with me so that I could have conversation with another adult, because I'm doing like baby talk all day, or nursing spit up on me, things like that. So I had friends that just come over to do, just sit and talk with me. And then friends that would have come over to be like, hey, I'll hold the baby for 15 minutes while you go take a shower, or I'll watch the baby for an hour while you nap. Or like, do you have household chores that needs to be done? Who's doing your laundry? Let me wash the dishes. Let me come sweep. I'll pick up your older boys from school or daycare, or what have you. So that's the support that I had. So in terms of what I didn't have, there wasn't much that I didn't have. So those are the things that I would suggest anyone, if you know someone who is like recently had a baby in their fourth trimester, about to have a baby, so about to start their fourth trimester, those are things that I would absolutely suggest.
So building that support system before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's so wonderful to hear that you had such a strong support system around you
I
during
did.
that period.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is beautiful. And did you go into your fourth trimester with any sort of plan, or just, or do you think it just came together beautifully?
Let me tell you something. I be winging it, okay?
Yeah.
I wing it every day. Wake up and wing it every day. And that includes, in my transparency, that includes motherhood. I wake up and wing it every day. So I definitely didn't have any plans beforehand for my fourth trimester, like getting myself together, or even like getting my village together to be like, hey, I need you all to assist me with X, Y, and Z. Didn't do any of that. It thankfully all came together.
Beautiful, beautiful how they just showed up wonderfully and showed up
Mm-hmm.
the way that you needed them to.
Yes.
You suggest for people who are trying to support somebody in that period, how would you suggest that they show up for you, for somebody? Sorry, I'm just thinking of this question.
No, you're fine. So I would suggest absolutely asking what the birthing parent needs. Um, because oftentimes the birthing parent is forgotten. Once baby comes, nobody is asking you how you're doing anymore. Nobody is asking you, have you eaten? Nobody's asking you how you're feeling. It's all, oh, the baby. Does the baby need anything? Has the baby eaten? Does the baby sleep well? Does the baby take to everybody else in the house? Like, nobody is asking you about, even when people like show up, they're like, oh, the baby. Like, I just had to open the door for you. The baby can't open the door for you. Like, acknowledge me. I am still a person. So I think that is like the one thing that I could say, like, acknowledge the birthing person, because it was a them before there was a baby.
That's a fact. And a lot of have shared that like it can even be overwhelming at first when baby first comes home. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are trying to support and trying to love, but then it dwindles down over time. Have you noticed that, or how do you feel about that process as well? Or
So it definitely dwindles down after a while. And I would say I think that's the natural progression of things, right? Because by the third month, that postpartum, people are just like, well, girl, this baby been here 3 months. You trying to tell me you don't got yourself together? But I mean, some people don't. I am some people. Like, I don't have myself together. But I think that is the natural order of things. People just are just like, well, it's been a while. So the excitement has died down. Baby has lost their new baby smell. Like, everything is now hopefully back into regular routine that it was prior baby, just with an addition now. So yeah, again, I think that's just naturally how things go.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing all of this, because I know it is recent. So thank you so much for sharing all this with
Of course.
me. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, for those who may be expecting, for ways to prepare for the fourth trimester. I know oftentimes people put together birth plans, but there are also postpartum plans and templates, even online or
Mm-hmm.
international doula agencies. They have postpartum templates that are available for those who are looking to create like a structured plan. But
You asked me what was one thing that I would have wanted, and I said nothing because my village came through, which they did. But I will say, I do wish that I had a postpartum doula.
oh, yeah.
I actually went looking for one, but my pockets could not afford because I wanted one for overnight. Again, full transparency, I am a sleeper. I don't play about my sleep. And I think with every pregnancy, that is the hardest part, like waking up those every 2 hours to feed the baby. Like I am literally half sleep trying to nurse. So I definitely wanted a postpartum doula to help me with that, and also like help me moving around because I had a C-section. So like moving around those first few weeks, those first 6 to 8 weeks was painful. Like squatting, even sometimes picking up my baby was painful. So definitely the postpartum doula would have been the cherry on top.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then that's what we talked about, building the support system. And I just thought about some things that can even be included in that part. Could be for paying for the doulas, because yes, there are people who offer it free or low cost, but doulas can be very expensive.
Child.
Just starting to cover it, some services through Medicaid and through some insurances. There is one sometimes people recommend including it in like the registry for the baby shower.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so that
That is
a
smart.
little bit, or having games at the baby shower where people can contribute money towards.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's why I literally wore my hoodie today. It says the hood needs doulas, because I think everybody who wants one should
I
be.
love that. I love that.
And other things in the support system that can be great to include in this plan, like the postpartum doula, but lactation consultants,
Yes.
first time parents,
Yes.
but in preparing your spouse or partner for that postpartum, educating them on what that might look like, or ways that they can show up for you during that period as well. And
Mm-hmm.
we talked about friends and family that came over,
Mm-hmm.
were able to help with chores, but people that you feel like you didn't have to host too.
Right.
That's important for that.
Very important. Yeah,
And
because I mean, you don't have the energy, you don't have the capacity to
yeah,
be hosting for hosting. So, if you can always get someone to come over and just be, right? You don't have to put on, because you don't have that. You still have sleep when you answer the door. Like you just don't have that energy.
yes, wonderful, wonderful. And so, how were you with setting boundaries in that space? Like, how were you with um, saying who could meet the baby when baby Kai first came home? And what were your rules, and how did you go about that?
So Kai is actually my second baby that I've had in the pandemic. That's how long this pandemic has been. I have had two children in a whole pandemic. So things have been very different. Like before, like my mom used to come, she used to help out. She couldn't come because, well, with my first baby of the pandemic, she couldn't come because he was born at the very beginning. So, and she's elderly. She was immunocompromised. So I didn't want, her traveling, and in her traveling, bringing anything to my newborn or to me, you know? So, but since we're still in a pandemic, definitely like only close friends and family. And I mean like close, close, close. And since I don't have any family near, is my good friends, who I consider, like, I call them my sister friends. So they're more like sisters. They can come, but even them, like, wash your hands before you touch my baby. Grab a receiving blanket. Don't put my baby directly on your clothes. Do not. Under no circumstances do you kiss my baby. Under no circumstances. If you want to like kiss him, then you kiss his, like, I would allow. to kiss his feet. Not his hands, because he puts his hands in his mouth. Definitely not his face. Nowhere near his lips. And yeah, those were my restrictions, my boundaries.
Wonderful. It's great that you have them. And how did you enforce them? Or have it ever came up where you had to enforce them, or responding to people who try to overstep those boundaries, even family members? Or
Luckily, I haven't had to like reinforce them. It's just a general thing. Like with people that I know, that like you just don't do those things. That's not your baby. You just don't do those things. So I haven't had to. Now my mom Kaya's older now. He's not like fresh out the womb newborn. And he has a nanny, so he's getting exposed to someone else's germs who doesn't live in our household now. But I also did, like, even with the nanny, I also felt like, are you vaccinated? Did you take your flu shot? Like, I did all of those things with her as well. But we'll see when my mom comes. He's a little bit older now, so I'm not, even when my mom comes, my in-laws are coming later on this month. I don't think I'll be much of a stickler because he's older. But I'm still definitely not on the don't kiss my baby in his mouth. Don't do that. And I've seen people do that. Like, that is not your baby.
Yeah.
Like, kiss that baby on the hand. And even then, still not the hand, because babies are very oral. Like, they have oral fixations. Everything goes to their mouth, right? Because that's how they're learning. That's how, they're continuing to develop their senses. Rub that baby's thigh and say, oh, so cute. Like, that's what you need to do.
Rub the baby's thigh. Funny. So, but I like how you said kissing the feet, because even for those who really, really feel like they need to kiss the baby.
I don't know what it is. It's like a sensation that comes over people. I have no idea what that is, but they need to cut it out.
Yo, that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that as well. Mm-hmm. And work your way around it and continue to enforce that boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And so just to move on to the next part as well, we talked about preparing for changes going into the postpartum period. Not just changes to what your life will look like, your chores will look like, but emotional changes as well. Because the fourth trimester can be such an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Boy wonder, new baby, but also it can come with various mood swings and sadness as well. It's found that up to 80% of new moms experience some sort of baby blues, sadness, or anxiety during those first 2 to 3 weeks postpartum. Was that something that you felt like you could prepare for, or was something that you expected, or something that you experienced?
So expected, yes, because I know that it's a thing that can happen. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could prepare for it, because it's just emotions that, come over you. So I don't think it's something that you can prepare for. What happens after you give birth and you go back for your 6-week postpartum checkup, even at your baby's pediatrician, when you go for their 2-week, they'll give you like a survey that'll ask about your feelings within the last 7 days. And I think that is such a great tool, that even that the pediatrician does it, because when they get it back and they review it, they can help you identify what you're feeling, and they can differentiate if it's just baby blues, which you mentioned happens within the first 2 to 3 weeks, or if it's postpartum depression, which is something totally different and more serious, of course. I don't think I experienced baby blues. I was always so happy. Again, transparency, I have 4 children, so I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. But I don't think I experienced baby blues. What I did feel, though, was that sometimes I felt like my partner wasn't helping out very much. Like my husband, even at the middle of the night feedings, I literally would like be sitting up nursing, looking over him like, your chest is useless. Like, you can't even help me. So that was the type of feeling I got, like, I want to sleep. But that's because like I said, I like to sleep. Like, that is my thing. So I just felt like sometimes lonely, because like now I'm sleeping. I mean, I'm up nursing and you're sleeping, and I mean like hard sleeping, copping Z's. So I started waking him up and was like, "Hey, you do the diaper change and I'll do the feeding." So now we're both in this together, and I don't feel alone.
That's a great way to split it too, because one doing diaper changes, one doing.
Mm-hmm.
That is beautiful that you figured that out, and did it help to address those feelings?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I definitely was building up, like, and it's not his fault, right? Like, it's not his fault, but I definitely was like fielding up, like feeling like some animosity, like this is not fair. Why you get to sleep the whole 8 hours and I'm up every two, you know? So, but it definitely did help change the emotions.
That's beautiful, 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 and it's really important during this period after postpartum. Like, many also talk about the birth of the baby, but it's also the birth of parents and learning how to parent together, and how to work well together, as you're saying, because your life changes dramatically after a birth of a baby, whether it's one or four. Things are gonna look different. So
Yeah, and it consistently changes too. It's not just like, oh, we had one baby, so the second one it's not going to change, but like it changes with every baby. Because not like they're not all the same. They're all different personalities. One may have slept through the night. One has you waking up every 2 hours. One has you waking up every 6 hours. Like, it's they're all different. So each time you go through it, you change. And I feel like I read something somewhere that said like every time a person has a baby, something in their brain changes too as well. Doesn't matter if it's, the second or the third or the sixth, whatever. Like every time a person has a baby, there's a chemical change in their brain as well.
that makes a lot of sense too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and interesting how to navigate that. And do you feel like, for you having experienced this, because I'm not a professional, you are the professional that had the babies. How do you feel like those chemical changes have affected you after the deliveries?
Um, that's a good question. I don't. I don't know. I think I've always been a protector, but I'm more so of a protector now, right? Because I have people to protect. I also feel like, and this just may be me, but I also feel like I have like a superhuman complex, right? Like I birthed my own people. Like I birthed them. um, so I feel like I'm top notch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm top notch. Um, but yeah, definitely protector. I also, uh, which I never realized before, I have a fear of, I have a fear of like crossing fingers, crossing eyes and everything, but like a fear of dying, because I have little people. Like I want to see what happens in their lives and things like that. And I was actually talking to some of my mom friends and they were just like, oh my God, I also never had that fear before having children. So I think that also like plays a part.
Yeah, I definitely see that, and thank you so much for sharing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And how? Oh, sorry. Just to kind of move back in a couple steps to I'm discussing about preparing for preparing for baby blues. This is our last things, but the reminder, you said that you expected it, but it didn't really happen. But for those who may be experiencing it, I'm reminder that they're short term and typically go away without treatment. But if you feel like it's not going away there, or even just as it starts preparing with therapy services can start even during the pregnancy, but can be really helpful during the whole perinatal period.
Yes, and that's when I said that the survey that you get at your postpartum or your pediatrician visit, it's like those are vital because the health professional can assess your responses and be like, oh well, this is baby blues, or this looks like it's a little bit more serious and maybe you do need to see a therapist or what have you and get you the help that you need. So I definitely think that that's and because it happens so often, like I said, it's you get it at the baby's 2-week checkup, you get it at your 6-week postpartum, and you also get it at baby's 1 month, and you get it at baby's 1.5-month checkup. So there's some literally for the first 6 weeks, you have those surveys every visit.
Well, that's beautiful too. Beautiful too.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I see we're almost running out of time. But are there any questions?
I mean, I can talk, girl, if you can talk.
More content. We also have the reminders for the COVID-19 vaccine. Should I get into those now as well, or were there other things that you would like to add about the fourth?
Let me see. Let's see. Somebody had a question that said, why do people love kissing babies? Again, I think it's an emotion that just comes over people. They're babies, they're new. It's literally, I think, like the same emotion that you get with like a puppy or something. Not to compare, animals to humans, but like it's literally the same emotion. Like oh, look at the puppy, I want to cuddle it. It's like, oh, look at the baby, let me just kiss the baby. No, don't put your dirty lips on people's children. Let's see what else. We talked about a little bit, breeze through lactation. I had lactation issues with both of my last pregnancy, and I just went to see a lactation consultant at the breastfeeding center of Washington, D.C. Super, super helpful, and it just turned out to be like a latching issue. Like their latch was not deep enough with both of them. And once we got that cleared away, nursing has been easy. Nursing should never be painful. Be prepared to be clamped down on. When those teeth start to come in, be prepared to get bit. It's a part of the journey. Also, I know that we spoke about lactation, but not everybody is able to nurse. Fed is best. However it happens, fed is best.
Yes. Yep. And even if for what you were saying with the lactation consultants, perhaps that in the postpartum plan can be helpful to know where to look, where to find them already. I'm thinking of some that are in the city now. Amatoto's Village has Milk Bar twice a week, I believe.
Yes, they do.
And various WIC offices, I think actually all of the WIC offices offer lactation consultants. Those can be found as well.
Yeah, and in the hospital that you gave birth at also has lactation consultants. You could definitely use them.
Yep.
Let's see what else. Oh, can we just go back to the meal train?
Oh yeah.
One time for the one time.
I think I have some meal train websites to share as well.
For anyone who has a person who is going to deliver a baby soon, a meal train is one of the best gifts that you can give. You can get your groups of friends, or if you're close with the person's family, you can get their family to do it as well. My last meal train that I had it for the first 6 weeks. After I came home, I got a meal. Well, it was scheduled to have meals twice a week. So let's say I did like meals on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I had 2 meals a week for 6 weeks. But then I also had friends that were like, oh, we didn't get to sign up for your meal train. What do you want to eat tonight? Do you have a meal tonight? I ended up having a meal every day for 6 weeks. Every day for 6 weeks, I had a meal. And it was so much to the point, like, I had to tell people, like, I had leftovers from previous meals. So please, I don't have any more space in my fridge. But like, a meal train is the best. Also for laundry, because laundry will pile up. Birthing person's laundry will pile up. If they have a partner, partner's laundry will pile up. If you have other children, children's laundry will pile up. And you have a newborn who is spinning up, having blowout diapers, so their laundry will pile up. There is they're on Instagram actually. It's called Sudshare. I think they do laundry for $1.75 per pound. They will pick it up, wash, fold, and drop it back off. You literally just have to take it out of the bag, fold it, and put it in wherever designated drawer or whatever you have. And Sudshare is also top two. Top two. It ain't number one because Meal Train runs it, but it is top two that you can do for someone who is about to give birth or within the fourth trimester.
Beautiful. Those are great. And I have some sites for the meal trains as well. There's mealtrain.com. Then there's one that is just called Take Them a Meal. And then there's one that's called Give in Kind. So those are three options. You can start planning for it while you're pregnant. Can have people start to sign up at the baby shower. But so that people who want to love on you can love on you too.
Yes. And I'm like also really big on, like, again, I mentioned it already, but checking on the birthing person. Like, everybody is excited about the baby. We know that. But absolutely check on the birthing person, because you just never know. You just never know. Like, they always seem to fade to the background. And they just take it, right? Because they know everybody's excited about the baby. But like, again, they are a person too. They need to eat. They need to be able to eat to sustain the baby if they are nursing. Like, they need to eat to even have the energy to taking care of the baby. I mean, for the most part, they eat, poop, and sleep. But like, when they start to become mobile or are awake for longer periods of time, like, you have to do something with this baby, you know? So definitely check in on the birthing person. Like, and it doesn't have to be like an everyday thing, right? Once or twice a week. Hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need someone to talk to? Again, they're with a newborn all day. They may be missing the adult connection. Hey, even if you're chopping it up for 5 minutes for them to tell you, yeah, this baby threw up on me 3 times in 10 minutes. At least they got to get the words out, right? Because they have no one else to share it with.
Yes, and even debriefing their birthing process if they feel comfortable doing that as well. Because these spaces where people feel comfortable to talk about their birthing experience, which I think is wrong. I think everyone should. I think there should be more spaces where people can, if they want to. But just being able to talk about, how was it? What did you feel like? Did you experience anything? How did you feel in the room, or things like that? If they feel like they want to share. But yeah.
Agreed. But yeah, that's all I had. Oh, stocking up on supplies. We forgot to talk about that. Please, people, be like me, because I'm telling you, when you are planning to go to the hospital to deliver your beautiful baby, and you've packed all of your necessities, we can talk about that too a little bit too, but you've packed all of your necessities, all the things that are going to make you comfortable while you are bringing new life earthside. Also pack an extra bag. I packed an extra suitcase for all of the diapers and wipes that the hospital would give. Every shift change, every nurse's shift change, I asked my new nurse for a new pack of diapers and wipes. And I took them home. My child no longer wears newborn diapers because he's gotten bigger, of course, but I still have about a month's supply, maybe a little bit more, of newborn diapers because I hoarded them. And you need them. Like, you're going to go through them. But I went through them and still have diapers left. But yeah, also speaking of, say that again.
Oh, sorry. I said, and you already really paid for it. So
You really did. You really did pay for it. Or your insurance paid for it. Somebody paid for it so that you can have it. So you take them with you. um, Also, speaking of supplies, to bring, I know this is not fourth trimester, this is fourth trimester, but I think it also helps with the birthing experience. Bring all the things that you're comfortable with, which you could bring like, they really don't allow candles, but if you have like one of those aromatherapy humidifiers, bring one of those. If you have the little soft tea lights that you want to put around your room to give you a little ambiance, bring them. If you have music, I had a birthing playlist. Bring it, play it. If you want to give birth in a gown that you brought from home and not the itchy, scratchy, stiff hospital gowns, bring that. Bring your own pillow. Bring a blanket. Bring, your favorite slippers. Bring the comforts of home, because labor is not a game. Okay. And then you go home straight into the fourth trimester. So, like, bring whatever makes you comfortable, what would make the experience more enjoyable. And then take the diapers and wipes home.
love it. Beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing, not
Of
just
course.
your tips and tricks along the way. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Beautiful. And I will go through. So thank you all so much for joining us today for our fourth trimester live. And before we go, I want to give you a couple reminders about the COVID-19 and the vaccines that are available. If you've already gotten vaccinated, congratulations. You've taken an important step to preventing yourself, your loved ones, and communities from illness. Multiple variants have soared across the world, and it's totally understandable why you might want to keep wearing your mask. The vaccine is not 100% effective. More contagious variants are spreading, and there are very few protocols in place to actually verify that folks around you are vaccinated. So keep staying alert. If you haven't been vaccinated and you're looking for an appointment, Whitman-Walker Health has the COVID-19 vaccines available, including the bivalent. Please reach out to us at 202-207-2480 to make an appointment. If you're having trouble making an appointment with us for DC residents, you can find COVID-19 vaccine walk-up locations and eligibility at vaccinate.dc.gov or by calling 1-855-363-0333. In Maryland, you can learn more about the Maryland vaccine distribution process and schedule a vaccination appointment at covidlink.maryland.gov or by calling 855-634-6829. And for Virginia residents, learn more about the Virginia vaccine distribution process. Schedule a vaccination appointment at vaccinate.virginia.gov or by calling 877-829-4682. If you haven't been vaccinated and you're not looking for an appointment, please continue to follow CDC guidelines for mask wearing, quarantining, social distancing, and the like. It's very important that you consider getting the vaccine, discuss COVID precautionary measures with those around you, be mindful of masks and keep your distance, but especially when you don't know whether a person has been vaccinated or not. And for CDC stats with DC and monkeypox, according to the CDC, there are 22,000 cases of monkeypox documented in the U.S. In the DC region, you can pre-register for a monkeypox vaccine appointment at dchealth.dc.gov/page/monkeypox, and you can pre-register. For the vaccine at that website. Virginia is working with local care providers to contact trace and identify those most in need for the vaccine. And varying counties in Maryland are allowing registered residents to pre-register for that vaccination. The Maryland Health Department just released its pre-registration system, so please visit your state's local health department for more information on how to register and get vaccinated against monkeypox as well. And in DC, there are walk-up vaccination sites that are each Friday from noon to 8 p.m. or until supplies last at the DC Health Monkeypox vaccination clinics. There are three, one in Ward 8 at 3640 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue Southeast, one in Ward 4 at 7530 Georgia Avenue Northwest, and another in Ward 2 at 1900 I Street Northwest. These vaccinations are on a first-come, first-served basis to eligible residents who have not already received a first dose of the monkeypox vaccine. You are eligible if you are one, a District of Columbia resident, 18 years of age or older, and are any person of any sexual orientation or gender who has had multiple partners in the past 2 weeks, including those who are currently considered highest risk, gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men, transgender men, and women. Sex workers of any sexual orientation or gender, and staff of any sexual orientation or gender at establishments where sexual activity occurs, such as bathhouses, saunas, and sex clubs. So that was all on the vaccinations. Thank you for holding through. But please remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Whitman-Walker. Checking out our website, it has a lot more information, and for the most up-to-date information on the services that we offer for COVID-19 and monkeypox and general resources. But please feel free, more specifically, the COVID resource line is 202-797-4439. But please continue to follow the Real Talk DC page and the nofilterdc.tu3yt page to keep in touch with all of the happenings at Whitman-Walker Health. And thank you.
Thank you for having me, is what I was about to say.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, and hope you have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching.